I thought I would share a little quick work video with you. Our rental kayaks, like this one, this is an Old Town Vapor 10. They get put through a lot with the customers. You can see here, you know, just all the mud and the wear and tear on the riverbank. But what I got to do is I have to redo one of the patches that's already been done. So we don't have a lot of the kayaks that have these patches on them, but the ones that we do, it's just kind of a maintenance thing. What happens is, and you can really see it right here, I'll try to get up close, you can really see how this is no longer concave, that it's flattened and then it goes to being rounded. And that is what concrete will do to these boats. Whatever these are made out of, like one-piece construction boats, I want to say it's like a polypropylene blend. Concrete is just devastating to them, and so customers will take the boats and just drag them up the sidewalk, and this is what happens. So I'll go ahead and put a little bit of a patch on this. We don't have any holes quite yet, but I'll have to clean it up. And I normally take a file and file off all the burrs and stuff. But where I do have to patch it is down here. So this was already one of the patches that we have. I know it looks crazy and it doesn't look nice and neat and clean. And the reason for that is it's our rental fleet. It's not a personal customer's kayak. It's just a down and dirty, really thick, heavy-duty patch that actually will extend the life of this boat because I've added material on top of it. So the issue that we ran into here is that the patch has split off. So I know this one has a hole in it right about here, from the concrete grinding through and wearing a hole in it, and the water is seeping in underneath this. And so what I'm going to have to do is go through and file all this down and file this up and clean it up, and then extend this patch out to about here and bring it out. So it's a little bit of a tedious process, but once you kind of get the hang of it, it's not hard. It's something I had to learn how to do when I got here. But I wanted to show you real quick too what we actually use. So this stuff is really what they use on countertops, I'm pretty sure, and it works okay. It just doesn't handle heat really well. It tends to warp and bend. So what we found, and this stuff's expensive, it's like $30-something a can. But what we found are this two-part epoxy. All right. So, and it says knife grade on there, and I don't know. You know, I haven't really looked into it. The owner bought this, but this stuff is thebomb.com. You do about 2.5 parts. 2.5 parts A to 1 part B, and it turns into that. And I use this blue dye here to make it look nice and neat. So it won't set right unless you get the ratio mix. But I mean, this stuff is hard as a rock. This is actually the first time I've ever had a piece of it break off and come off, and I want to say it's probably because I didn't clean it real well. But let me get all this stuff mixed up and set up, and I'll kind of show you what I do. It's kind of hard because I don't have my tripod with me, but just thought it'd be kind of cool to show you guys this stuff. And here's our boat shop. The reason why we go with with that kind of 2-part compound is you got to look at the type of hole that's in the boat. And with a hole like that, that's a hole that is there because the material has been worn through, it's best to try to stack something on top of it and replace that with, you know, like that 2-part epoxy that'll add material to it and kind of extend the life of the boat. Now, if it's a damage to the boat that's an actual tear or a gash, you know, like what a knife wound looks like, the patch doesn't work as well because the material around it is now gone. There's actually been a strip taken out, you know, or a lot of times with a gash like that, something has cut the boat and peeled or rolled that material back, and you'll notice that it's kind of like curlicued back. So what I have to do then is I have to take this torch and use this material here. It looks like almost looks like weed eater line, but we've got all these different colors that we can match to the boat, and this is actually, here's a color that I would use on this boat if it was a tear. This is actually the same material that the boat's made out of. And if you can see on the inside there, let me see if we can get it to focus. On the inside it has a core on it, that white core, and that melts down, and it's kind of like stick welding. You take your torch in one hand and your line in the other and just kind of feed it in, and it helps to heat the boat up a little bit. You'll see the color of the boat change, and when you heat it up, that stuff bonds to it a lot better, but you can't heat it up too much because then it'll warp it. So it's a really fine line. I don't have to do a whole lot of that, but I think I've done 4 or 5 boats on ours to do that. It normally happens with the canoes because the weight normally causes it to get hung up on something and then tear, as opposed to a lighter weight boat like a kayak, or a more streamlined boat like a kayak tends to just kind of glide over it a lot easier. So wanted to show you that real quick and kind of go over the differences as to what I've seen. So let me get back to that boat and get stuff prepped. You're gonna need your 2-part mix, a dye so that it's not just kind of show you what it looks like if it's not dyed. I don't know if you can see on the box right there. It's kind of like a translucent yellow, clear color. So we put the dye in it just to make it look a little bit nicer. You'll need a putty knife, a file. I mix everything on a piece of cardboard. I can fold it up and throw it away. And you'll need a bucket with some lukewarm water to really clean all this up. So let me do this first. I'll get rid of the mud and the dirt and the sand with this little shop rag and a minnow bucket of water. And then I'll show you kind of how I prep it so that I feel like it'll stick better once I put the material on there. And again, I know this doesn't look nice at all, but this is a rental fleet boat, so its main job here at this business is the function. It needs to function properly every single time, and this is what we found works the best. It just makes it tough and more rugged, and honestly, a boat with this on there is going to last longer now than a boat that's never been touched with it. It just kind of adds armor to it, and I mean, this stuff is hard. It doesn't chip. It doesn't, like I said, it's kind of crazy that this broke off. I can kind of see there's dirt underneath it, and that might have been a mistake I had. So, yeah, that's the reason. I can definitely make it look nice and pretty, but I choose to do this. So I got it real nice and clean, and now I'm going to take a file. This isn't really an aggressive file because I don't want to take off too much, but what I'm going to do is just take off this part here that that's in front of this, and I'm actually going to smooth some of this down a little bit, and I'll try to bring this in and bring it around this way too. So, and I went ahead and cleaned the front up here. All this right here is what it looks like when there's dirt underneath your patch. That's what it'll do. So that's why this one fell off in the front. I had this whole thing patched up, and I noticed that we've almost got a hole right here. right there. There's almost a hole getting worn in, and it won't take long, so I'm gonna go ahead and put a big patch on this one too, and that way it'll extend the life of the boat. So let me, like I said, I'm just using my hand to hold the phone, so I obviously can't do the file work, but I'll try to show you what it looks like before and after. And then another thing too with this stuff, once it gets on something, if it's mixed right, it doesn't come off. So your clothes, be careful in them. I take off my wedding ring, I take off my watch, anything you don't want this stuff to get on. It's best to take it off or change your clothes or whatever, because I've got a couple of work shirts that this stuff dried on it, and that's it. So it's on there for good. But I'll get back with you in a second. You can see now the difference. This is the front of the boat. I got rid of a lot of the old stuff that was stuck on there and followed it down. I'll have to get rid of the dust and wipe it down again, but you can really see now the flatness right here, right there, and that shoulder, you know. I normally will try to follow that down, but because it's that kind of a crucial part of the boat right there, I'll leave it. It won't have any problem sticking to that. And let me show you the back end of the boat. Same thing. I'll have to get rid of the dust, but I've filed down a lot of this to where it now kind of slopes. And then I tried to smooth this out as best I can. I got rid of all that dirt and all the old junk that was on there. So almost prepped and ready, and I'll show you the mixture part here in a second. So I always get a piece of newspaper and put it down on my lap, and then this is what it looks like. Here's part A, here's part B. I misspoke earlier. I was actually thinking of the other stuff down there. This ratio is about 1 1/4 part A to 1 part B. So whatever size glob I get for part A, I get just a little bit less for part B, and I can kind of tell by the color of it what it's going to look like. Before I add any coloring to it though, he wanted me to try and patch this coffee cup together. It's one that he uses, so I'll do that real quick, and then I'll show you the actual color mixing. And then I've got the boat right here by me that I'll try to video the filming or the patching that I do on it. So there's my part A, and you add the coloring to it before you put part B in. So let me see if I can manage to do this one-handed. It just takes a little bit. Not that much. That's about the texture and consistency you want. Now you got to kind of be swift with this. It's got about a 5 to 10 minute setup time, so let me see if I can multitask and do this together. So basically I get a big old glob like this, and I'll come in where the exact trouble area is, and I'll patch it on there. Okay, and I'll take this excess and rake it off on the side to use here in a second. Okay, so I'll work with this glob that I already have, and I just come, and if you've done any kind of palette work at all, I painted a lot in high school and college, or not so much college, but in high school. And you just come through and I draw it out, and this will start setting up a little bit. Come over here on the side. The more that I look at this boat, I want to say it's one of the ones that I did early on, and I've gotten better at doing this. So that's probably why this patch looked so bad in the beginning. But I'll just try to evenly coat it as best I can. Try not to waste any, you know, stuff's expensive. kind of building some armor around this. And just start building it up, you know. Like I said, you can't be afraid to really glob it on there, you know. Just try to smooth this out. Real even coat. This would probably work better if I had a even like a spatula or something. Let me finish this up and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Alright, so this is what it looks like. Let me see if I can get you kind of a perspective view. So here's the original patch. And I just extended this out. Okay? Alright, so on the front end, with things like this, there's not necessarily a hole or a spot that I know for sure that's leaking. I'll go through and put a big patch or a plug on it where the area of weakness is, and then I'll come in on the sides and fill it in and just kind of build it up from there. So I'll show you what this and the back end looks like, and then hopefully it'll dry by the time before I leave for work, and I'll be able to show you what it looks like when it's dry. Here's the final little reinforcement on the front. So now we no longer have that flat spot. We've got it built up real nice right here where it was flat. Okay, and then I reinforced on the side with the walls, and then we move around to the back of the boat, and we've got a really nice one. And I went ahead and patched a little bit down here too on the front end, and over here on the side. So the back end is what gets damaged the most with us, because people will grab the front end, the front handle of the boat, and just drag it down the sidewalk, and that's how this stuff gets ruined. But once this dries, I'll go over with my file again and get rid of the sharp edges. It'll dry and there'll be little sharp, pointy, prickly edges on it, and then it'll be ready to go. So thought that'd be something that would be kind of cool to show you. Something that I do at work. It really picks up. I do a lot of these during the summer. Not a lot, but you know, I say a lot, but I mean maybe one every week or two, and just kind of gotten pretty decent at it. So we will check back with you. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching.